You know, according to your girlfriends, gentlemen, you tend to have a lot in common with the battery life of a PlayStation 4 controller, because when it's all said and done, neither of you last very long. And the more alarming thing about that is that I've actually discovered in the last week that some of you enjoy unfrosted Pop-Tarts, and I think to me that is very, very alarming, and that is a sign of misfortune in the future and a sign of very, very bad things to come. Anyways, I hope everybody is being safe during this crazy pandemic. Today we're going to talk about the new PlayStation 5 controller that is announced, the specs and all the things that come with it. The image definitely looks cool. We're going to talk about the AEW TNT Championship Tournament starting tonight. The finals, if it tends to still go on, are going to be at Double or Nothing towards the end of May. We're also going to talk about WWE not planning to have a hiatus, which I think is a huge mistake. We're going to talk about all of these things right here. Go nowhere. Because I'm outside, and it actually gives me an excuse to wear these instead of looking like a dumbass, which I've done for the last 6 months. I'm actually going to keep these sunglasses on my head because it adds a little bit of an imperial aspect to me and whatnot. Anyway, there are quite a bit of topics that are going to be talked about in this video. One of them is the AEW TNT Championship Tournament, which is going to start tonight. From what we know, there's only one match that is scheduled for tonight. In 2 weeks, I believe we're going to have the next match, which is Lance Archer and Kip Sabian, if I am correct. We have two other matches as well. Obviously, it's a tournament, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. The finals right now, as it looks, is scheduled to take place on Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing is AEW's next pay-per-view, which is scheduled to take place in the third week, or the third Saturday probably, of May, which is May 23rd. Right now, as it stands, AEW and WWE are still going on with their television, and WWE especially, they advertised Money in the Bank during WrestleMania, so I'm expecting that they're still going on with that show, but that could be canceled. Now, I do have to give a little bit of criticism to AEW as well, because a lot of people are saying that everybody under the sun is criticizing WWE, but they're not giving AEW that same criticism. I feel like the reason that they haven't is because a lot of this had to do with WWE going on with WrestleMania. I feel like if they had chosen to continue their weekly programming but not go on with WrestleMania, it would have been maybe not accepted, but understood a little bit more. I don't think that WWE should have gone on with WrestleMania. I think they should have gone on, but they shouldn't have gone on with it in the way that they did. Now, the show as itself, I can't sit here and tell you that it was the greatest thing I've seen, because it really wasn't. I don't think it was that great of a show. I think it had moments during the show that you'll remember. Definitely the Boneyard match, definitely the Firefly Funhouse, and Owens Rollins. Different matches that took place during the show that you will most likely certainly remember. But again, my whole situation with them was really just them going on with the show as opposed. Now, AEW's been doing weekly television, and they've been doing it much better than WWE has. They've been a lot more entertaining, and then again, I feel like this whole pandemic has exposed WWE's creativity, or their lack thereof, a lot more, because they haven't really done anything out of the box that's creative. The Firefly Funhouse was great. I think that was cool. The Boneyard match was great, but again, their weekly television is what I'm emphasizing on right now, and I don't think that they've done really anything that's been... The only thing of creativity that rubbed off on me was the last segment before SmackDown ended, and that was Cena and Bray Wyatt, because you can't really execute something like that with the crowd present. But I did think that was a cool thing. But anyways, before I drift off topic, AEW is still scheduled to go on with Double or Nothing May 23rd, so we're going to kind of see where that goes. But right now, these are the four matches in the quarterfinals that we're going to see and that are confirmed. The first one is Shawn Spears versus Cody Rhodes. The next one is Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. The next, Kip Sabian and Dustin Rhodes. And then Lance Archer and Colt Cabana. The problem with me with this tournament is that it's very predictable. If you've watched AEW, or you just kind of know, or just have a general idea of what's going on in AEW, you know that this tournament right here is very predictable. At least the finals is. Who wins? I will give you what I think in a minute. But the first match is scheduled to take place tonight, and that is Shawn Spears versus Cody Rhodes. There's really no doubt in my mind that Cody Rhodes is going to win this match. There's no reason for Shawn Spears to win. You know, when AEW first started, they had him, they aired him a lot on television. But I feel like recently he's come back, and they kind of haven't really done anything with Shawn Spears. And I actually do like his gimmick when he was coming out with his manager, and I did like the different aspect or different things that they've done with Shawn Spears, but it was very brief and was very short-lived. Shawn Spears didn't really add Didn't really have too much AEW time just in general. And now for all of a sudden for him to come back in this tournament and fight Cody Rhodes and get a win would make no sense. And it's definitely not going to happen. But however, I don't think Cody Rhodes is going to win this championship. I do think he would beat Shawn Spears. The next match is Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. Now, the way the bracket's set up, the winner of this match, unless they do some alternate shift of it, the winner of this match would face Cody Rhodes. Now, I think it would be smart here to have Darby Allin win, but I don't think they will. I think they're going to have Sammy Guevara win. The next match is Kip Sabian and Dustin Rhodes. I'm really very uninterested in this match, to be honest. I don't really care who wins. But let's just say Dustin Rhodes for the hell of it. And then the final match is almost probably going to be a squash match. It's Colt Cabana, who has really, I don't even know why he's on AEW. I don't find him interesting. I'm sorry. I never really did. Versus Lance Archer. Lance Archer has been the guy that AEW has built up really strong. And just a lot of different things that they've done with him, especially the promos with Jake the Snake Roberts. Lance Archer is actually who I think is going to win the tournament and the title. I definitely think Lance Archer is going to squash right over Colt Cabana. And I do see Lance Archer in the finals. And I see him in the finals against Cody Rhodes. And I see him actually... Him and Cody Rhodes are going to have a really good match if that is how the finals plays out. There's no need for it to be Dustin Rhodes. We've already seen Cody face Dustin on a big stage before. So I'm definitely going to go with Lance Archer to actually win the TNT title. That's what I would do. I don't think Cody Rhodes really needs a title right now. We know how popular he is. We know how important he is. But I don't think that he really needs a championship. But that is your AEW TNT title. Or should I say TNT title tournament, and that's one of the creative things that AEW is doing to prolong this. And they're not doing every match on one night, which is what you can expect, or what you can actually respect. I'm sorry. Definitely have Cody Rhodes winning tonight. We'll see what happens. AEW has been a little bit been creative lately, and we're kind of interested to see what it is that they're going to bring to the table going forward, especially with this pandemic. This is AEW's first pay-per-view since the pandemic has started. We don't know if they're going to go on with it. We don't know if they're going to delay it. I feel like AEW is a venue that really, not to say WWE doesn't care about their fans, because it feels like they don't, and they really don't, to be honest with you, but it feels like AEW wouldn't want this to happen in front of no crowd. You know, they have a minimum amount of pay-per-views each year. I don't think that they would want this to happen in front of nobody. But that's definitely an interesting tournament, and that they're going to go with. Before I get to the WWE hiatus, we're going to talk about the PlayStation 5 controller. Now, there's a lot of different things that they're adding to this, and I feel like it's not so much things that they're adding, but I feel like it's a lot of things that they're just adding to make improvements. The first one is a built-in microphone. Now, the DualShock 4, from what I know, had a built-in microphone, and it also had a plug for your for USB and any type of things to plug in, and by that I mean headphone jack, all that, yada, yada, yada. They're saying that the built-in mic is going to be built into controller, which is cool, but I feel like it's going to be low quality. I'm not going to say it's going to be super low quality, but it's not going to be quality to the standpoint of this is something I can live with. Everybody's going to get a headset. Hopefully, we're going to have to see what happens, but unless they're designing new headsets, a lot of the headsets that are made already, we're going to have to see if they're PS5 compatible. I would assume that they would be, instead of making everyone having to buy new headsets, but they're definitely going to promote and design PS5 exclusive headsets. I'm sure they'll do that with the games that come out first. GTA 6 is actually one of the games I want to come out first, but they have not teased that. They've been teasing it for a while, a little bit, but I don't think it's, from what a lot of the, I don't know if it's IGN or what company I saw, they're not expecting it to hit shelves until 2022, but I think that GTA 6 would have been a perfect first game for, to launch on the PS5. Another thing is extended battery life. That is just one of the improvements, and that's something that definitely needs to happen, because the battery life on the DualShock 4 is absolutely terrible. I don't know if that's something that had degenerated over time, but I think personally the battery life on the PS4 controller is absolutely ass. I don't like it. I think it's not good. Now, from what we're told, also another thing is the share button. The share button is now the create button. It's probably going to be the same exact thing, but it's just called the create button, and we don't know exactly anything too much about that, of where that's going to go going forward. But that's just kind of one of the things that they're going with. And last but not least, I saw this at the end of the article, it's that the manufactured price for the PlayStation 5 is $450. Now, that is not the sale price, that is not the release price, but I would assume it's going to be more than that. We saw when the PS4 and the PS3 especially got released. I think the PS3 was released at a price of $600, which is ridiculous. I would assume that the PS5 is probably going to be released. I would like to say $400, but I feel like $500 at first is probably going to be what they're going to do. If it's a special bundle, they might do $500, but $400 it seems like the ballpark price for what it should be. But $500 is a lot of money. $500 is a lot of money, but it's definitely worth it because we all know as gamers how much we rely on our system and just the joy and different things that it brings to us going forward. So we've seen the PlayStation 5, we've seen what it looks like, we've seen what the controller looks like. Obviously, there's no gameplay out. I don't know. I'm sure that probably would have been something that would have happened at E3, had E3 not get canceled by this pandemic, which is ruining literally everything from sports to worldwide events. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to. I would definitely have it. And hopefully by that point, I will start this game streaming on here. And my game streaming is going to be like, holy shit. So it'll just be me with kind of like a personality that's very similar to my intros going forward. So that's kind of what I just thought about that. Thought I want to put that out there. And then one of the last things I wanted to talk about too is WWE, because now we were being told that WWE was going to potentially go on a hiatus after WrestleMania. We knew that they had the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, which was awful, taped. We knew that they had the SmackDown taped as well. But what we didn't know is that they advertised, and we saw this actually if you were watching, they advertised Money in the Bank to still go on May 10th on WWE. So I don't know how exactly they're doing that, because I think that the month of April is pretty much going to be shot for pretty much everything. So if they are planning on building this, they're going to have to continue to do this in the situation and circumstances that it is. I think that they should take a hiatus. I don't think that Money in the Bank is a pay-per-view that we need to see. I've actually been a fan of putting the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. I don't think why Money in the Bank needs to be its own pay-per-view, but again, I think that they should take a hiatus, because the problem is now it's still spreading, and it's going to get to a point, and we've gotten way past that point, to where people have gotten it, but it's going to get to a point where they can minimize, they can do multiple locations, they can do all this, and they can do all those things, but it's going to get to a point where it's going to hit a wrestler, Somebody's going to get it somehow, some way. I know they're taking safety precautions in terms of their performance, but I think that it is going to get a point where it is going to affect one of them. And once it does that creates a bunch of different possible scenarios and a bunch of different things that can spiral out of control. So I think that the best thing for them to do would be to go on a hiatus, but they're not going to do that, especially WWE, and Vince McMahon is very stubborn, so we're not going to see anything like that. One of the things, and that is part of the problem. I think that if it's hard to sit here and say it's not out of control, because it is out of control. But if it gets to a point where there's mandatory quarantines, where people can't leave specific states, they shut down more things, AEW and WWE will have to go on a hiatus. And it's not so much that, but I feel like WWE is not going to make any type of adjustment until that happens. AEW might actually do a hiatus. I'm still not sure if they're going to actually plan to go on with Double or Nothing. But from my standpoint, I don't think that it's really necessary. I can't shoot them down for it, because same thing goes with WWE. I can't shoot them down because AEW is doing the same exact thing. The difference is that AEW didn't have their damn biggest show of the year and whatnot. But you got to criticize both of them. Again, entertainment is great. We all love it. It gives us something to watch during this complete chaos. But I don't think it's something that's completely necessary. And just from that standpoint, I wouldn't really go on with it, because I think that the shows, even the ones leading up to WrestleMania, were pretty terrible. I don't think the Money in the Bank build is going to be good at all. But we're going to have to see, because we're going to give it a slate starting after SmackDown. So we know that, from what we know, our knowledge is that the last show taped was SmackDown, which is going to air in 2 days on Friday. And then after that, we don't know what's going on. But that is just pretty much the news, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try to do different things out here. We might do some top fives coming up in that. But that's just 3 different things that I wanted to talk about, kind of just on this. The AEW tournament. Enjoy AEW tonight. For those of you that are watching, enjoy the tournament. WWE, we don't know what's really going to happen going forward. I feel like a lot's been hidden under the rug, especially on their television show. We made no mention really of Roman Reigns being out of the main event. The Miz was just not there. WWE likes to sweep shit under the rug and play their fans as stupid idiots, and that is one of the things that we don't like. PlayStation 5 also looks great. We're going to get more and more details, but I think it would be even better if this was happening at a different time period and a different situation, because now I would be shocked, but imagine that this thing actually ran into the fall. I would be pretty amazed about that. But anyways, that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate everybody watching. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button, share it, and do everything that you think you need to do.